Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama. Right. Govinda. Dandavat all devotees. Dandavats all the way from Govinda Farm Ashram all the way to the east coast of USA, west coast of USA, central USA. Central USA, east, west coast of USA, yes, with Amarinda, he's on the west coast, and south, from south to north, Aparajita Devidasi, also Thailand, in Thailand. And I got some good news. Maheshwari is very happy to hear some news coming from Munindra Mohan Prabhu, and we put a circle around those dates to make sure we're here. All right. And Sharashi Ramani Devidasi and Harini Devidasi, they're representing Salt Lake City today. So let us begin with Vandanam, Vandeham. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha. Shri Rupam Savrajasam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savidusam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Almilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurataje Namaha. And to all of the devotees, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And yesterday, if you did listen to Srila Gurudev talking on the Hapaniya Day, talking about Hapaniya from the web, sasmat.com, the very first entry there, Srila Gurudev was giving some special attention to this verse, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha, because he said how important are the Vaishnavas. That everywhere in the scripture, he said, that yes, in the scripture, everywhere it is telling Guru and Vaishnava, to satisfy Guru and the Vaishnavas. It's not just one, like, okay, one place and I ignore everything else, but the Vaishnavas are Kripa Sindhu, the mercy ocean, oceans of mercy. Hare Krishna. Well, it's been festival time with the Gaurapanim Parikrama, with Gaurapanima Day, with the festival for Jagannath Mishra just after, the day after. And yesterday was quite Hapaniya-centered here in Villa Govinda. The morning, noon, and end of the day, and during the day was taken up with some talks about Hapaniya, remembrance of Hapaniya, and sharing the day of the installation of the deities, because traditionally there is a festival on this day in Hapaniya, means this day, yesterday for the Europe and further east side of the world. But this year, then the festival was the installation of the deities and the deities are Gauranga, Radha, and Gopinath. Shri Guru, Gauranga, Radha, Gopinath. And Hapaniya, then we're thinking about the day of the installation, because we were there, present, and participated in whatever way we participated. Well, participated, helped with arrangements, and helped to take the altar from Nabadwip to Hapaniya, and then getting the altar there, then helped to get the altar at least to the temple room, and then others did the preparation of the altar, including the cleansing, the sitting it in its place, etc. But I was on the team that went on Harinam Sankirtan through the villages with a palanquin, with a large picture. Well, the large picture means it's the picture that was worshipped in the temple before the deities came. There was a large picture of Srila Guru Maharaj there, and that picture continued to be worshipped as a particularly large picture of Srila Guru Maharaj with the deities. So normally we see the deities and then a row of the Guru's pictures, looking not necessarily exactly the same size as we've seen in Nabadwip, but they're kind of regular size pictures along the base, just below the deities. But there in Hapaniya, as Guru Maharaj's birthplace, that large picture continued to be worshipped just at that, so the top is at that same level. Anyway, that picture then we took with a wooden palanquin, which was prepared beforehand with two, palanquin, two handles at the front, two handles at the back, but it's a relatively small palanquin, so two people can take it. It didn't take four persons to carry it, one at the front, one at the back. And so we went through the paths, the rice field, ridges between the rice fields, etc., around Hapaniya, Sripat Hapaniya, the village, but around the local area too. And anyhow, this was our participation, was hopefully singing and hopefully doing something by participating in the Sankirtan. We were singing, we were chanting and going happily. As a young person, if somebody knows the date that the deities were installed, I don't remember exactly. Maybe Sevarupa sees a date. It could have been 1986, or it could have been 1987, in the time of Srila Guru Maharaj. Must be. Hare Krishna. Anyway, we were very much thinking of Hapaniya, and the very last place I was in Nabadwip actually was Hapaniya, Nabadwip Dham, Nabadwip Mandal, the greater circle, the greater area of Nabadwip, was Hapaniya. And then passing by Nabadwip on the way back down to Calcutta. Hare Krishna. So, very special place. And it's one of those places that we can consider how Srila Gurudev would say about the Holy Dham, that we can feel something in the Holy Dham. We may not be able to exactly put our finger on it, but we can feel some heat, some evidence, if you like, some heat from beneath the covering. And of course, there's a covering everywhere, but the covering of Hapaniya is very sweet. Actually, it's so sweet that the place is called Hapaniya, the place of sweet water. sweet drinking water. The coconuts are particularly sweet in Hapaniya. And the coconut sellers, they are particularly rich on the day that we have the festival. And I'm sure they get coconuts from not only Hapaniya, but from all around and about. And they just tell you, these are from Hapaniya. Because suddenly there are so many coconuts. Do they all come from those local trees? I'm not sure. But anyhow, Hapaniya, the name of Hapaniya, comes from the sweet water of the coconuts, and some say it's a sweet water from the ground, from the well. That's also possible. But Gurudev said it's the water from the coconuts, and so we've had. I can't say every time we go we've had, by the grace of the Vaishnavas, the green coconut dub of Hapaniya, but many times. And Hapaniya is in Rāḍha-deś. And you all know that Rāra, it looks like R-A-D-H-A in the transliteration, but the D has a dot under it, and the last A is short. It is not Rāḍha-deś, it is Rāḍha-deś. The D with a dot to us sounds the same as a R when it's in the middle of a word. When it's at the beginning of a word, it's a D. It's actually a D on the top of the palatal, I think they call it. Anyway, Rāḍha-deś. Hapaniya is in Rāḍha-deś, and Brāhmanpārhā, Srila Gurudev's birthplace, also is in Rāḍha-deś. And Rāḍha-deś is that area throughout which Mahaprabhu wandered extensively after receiving sannyas. And it's the area in which Nityananda was born. Ekachakra is in Rāḍha-deś. The Ekachakra, Hapaniya, Brāhmanpārhā, this is all known as Rāḍha-deś. And Nabadwip is Nabadwip. The Ganges flows through Nabadwip. Hare Krishna. And Rāḍha-deś is known as the land where the Ganges is not flowing, or where it is flowing hiddenly in that area. And yesterday we're reminded too that Srila Guru Maharaj used to walk from Hapaniya to the Ganges daily and take his bath. This is when he's a youth. And he would take his bath in the Ganges, and then he would go to a particular pond with lotuses. It always had lotuses. Pick a lotus, at least one lotus, we know. Pick a lotus, then walk to Jamalpur, the village named Jamalpur, and the deity of Shiva, known as Burura Shiva. And he would go to that deity. And we were remembering that deity recently when it was Shivaratri. And it's a very famous deity throughout the whole of the region. And during Shivaratri and there's more than one day. There's another day or more, which is specifically honored as Shiva's day. And people walk from far away and take Ganges water to that deity of Burura Shiva. And from Nabadwip also we see them walking barefoot and with bamboo stick, with clay pot at the front, clay pot at the back, and the bamboo stick is on the shoulder. And they walk with this all the way from wherever they are, but from the Ganges to Hapaniya. Hare Krishna, not to Hapaniya, to Burura Shiva. So that Shiva, Guru Maharaj would take a lotus, offer to Shiva, and then come back to Hapaniya village. Hare Krishna. And we have walked from Hapaniya to the Ganges, no doubt, but have not walked. Oh yes, walked No, I haven't actually walked from, I've been from Bururaj to Bururaj temple to Hapaniya, to our temple. But we walked to the Ganges. Hare Krishna. Seva Rupa Devi Dasi shared a file in the chat box. Well, oh, it's a file. On October 1989, the Advent Festival.
And that's Maharaj. I'm not sure if that's just the date of the festival or was it actually the installation, but I'm still checking.
Yeah, I think, anyway, I think it may be that the deities were installed during Srila Guru Maharaj's time. I'm not a good historian in that sense. And a little bit of a dark picture here you've put in the box. And I don't think that's Hapaniya. Is that Hapaniya? And the other one is definitely the second picture. This is the bridge crossing the Ganges. Let me try and make it bigger. Hare Krishna. Well, the second picture is a bridge crossing the Ganges. And the first picture, I am very doubtful that that's Hapaniya. Rather, that's Nabadwip or somewhere around. Hapaniya does not have so sophisticated electric poles with so many wires on. Hapaniya doesn't really have that environment. But there's Sripat Bhakti Kiran Giri Maharaj in the center of the first picture. And Sripad Aranya Maharaj, Sripad Paramahamsa Maharaj. And who became Jitendriya Maharaj is on the left, I believe. Not very clear to me who's on the left. And wearing white at the front is one person who later took sannyas. Hare Krishna. And similarly, on wearing white, in that second picture, there's somebody who took sannyas later. And with Sripad Bhakti Kiran Giri Maharaj leading again. And there is Subhansaka Prabhu after he received sannyas and he became Sripad Damodar Maharaj, walking beside me, and the temple in the background, you can see. Hare Krishna. And those pictures, well, they're probably, are they the same day? Anyway, I'm not sure. But that picture crossing the Ganges is where we're crossing to the other side, which is considered, the other side of the river is considered to be the Ganges. And the side, the same side as the Chaitanya Saraswat Math is the Jamuna. It's the Ganges, but it's the Jamuna. And on the west side is the Jamuna is flowing, and on the east side, the Ganges is flowing. And on the first day of Kartik, which is in October time, but the first day of Kartik, we cross over to the other side and bathe or take some water on our heads in the Ganges, from the Ganges. And the first day of Kartik is generally, well, it's wintry. And that looks a little wintry. And early in the morning, at least, it's chilly. It'll warm up during the day. So we cross the bridge, and generally devotees don't fully bathe. Some will bathe in the Ganges, but we're engaged in Harinam Sankirtan. We're chanting as we go. We'll cross the bridge, go down to the Ganges, take the Ganges water on our heads, bow down to the Ganges. And this is the beginning of Kartik. That's how Kartik begins. And probably this photo is that day. And the other time that you'll find all the devotees like this, gathering, crossing, is Nabadwip Dham Parikrama, the day we go to Godrumadip. It's the third day of the Parikrama. Godrumadip. Previously we went by boat, but in our time also the number of people, the volume of traffic, the volume of devotees doing Sankirtan increased so much that it wasn't practical 2 days out of the Parikrama days to go to Nabadwip and cross on the boat, because the boats are in great demand. So we cross the bridge and go by foot to Godrumadip. And so basically the first stop is Godrumadip. So there's quite a bit of walking first thing in the morning to get there. And then we visit the different places in Godrumadip, especially of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's pastimes. So that's the other day where you get a lot of devotees crossing the bridge together on Sankirtan. So 2 days in particular in the year we can consider. Hare Krishna. And you can see in the second picture, if you enlarge it on your screen, then you can see then on the right, the Sevak Bhavan, which means a very tall guest house. Oh no. On the right, that's the centenary memorial building that we see there. Is that right? Yes, that must be the centenary memorial building on the very right of the picture. Anyway, how is it that in these recent days, day by day, we are thinking of Navadip very much with Nabadwip Dham Parikrama and Mahaprabhu's appearance. And yesterday we're thinking of Navadip in connection with the going to Hapaniya, the installation of the deities, Srila Gurudev's happiness with going with Hapaniya, Guru Maharaj's happiness with Hapaniya. Hare Krishna, Jajava Maharaj. If you see it written Y-A, sometimes it's written Jajava, Y-A-Y-A-V-A-R, which I promise you it's pronounced Jajava Maharaj, not Ya Maharaj. And Jajava, it's a little like the opposite of the Spanish, where we hear the Haya Maharaja, where it's the Spanish, they change the J to the sound is like a Y when we're thinking about the English or American pronunciation. But in the Bengali, very often what is the letter Y in their language, in their script, is pronounced as Ja. So Jajava Maharaj. And in every language, no doubt, there are some particular kind of rules we need to learn. And there are not so many rules in the Bengali, but one of them is that one, the Ja. And generally you'll hear Jamuna spoken by Bengalis. They say, oh, Jamuna. And so it's not a grammar lesson today, but you've got two particular rules, two particular instances where there's the D with a dot under, when it's in the middle of a word, Rāḍha-desh, borrow size, big, muri for breakfast. And then now you've got a second rule, the Y is often pronounced as a J. But again, like with every language, you need to hear it from a Bengali. Hare Krishna. And then is is O, etc. O. And there's a difference between O and O. So it's again, we have to Jai Ho and what's O? Hoilo, hoilo, O. Short. Yes, Govinda, Govinda. And Rupanuga Prabhu with us in Australia, I think he was last time. Ananda Sundari Devidasi back in South Africa. Welcome home. Induleka down in Texas. And Dana in Florida. And 2 Priya Sundaris. 1 Priya Sundari without a thumbnail picture, and the other one is her live there, seated there, the Brazilian representation with Leela Moy Prabhu and Keshavananda Prabhu. Not quite Brazilian, but by association. Brazil's sweetness. Well, Keshavananda sweetness rubbing off on the Brazilians, Brazilian sweetness rubbing off on Keshavananda Prabhu. Jain. And Gangalila Devidasi joined us in the United States too. Mayeshri, are you waving to Gangalila? And Madhava Prabhu and Chandan Kumar, Dandavad. Oh, on Facebook, there is a question here from Chandan Kumar. Why my life is not meaningful? Well, in 6 words, you've given an important question. And really, this was for many of us who don't have any background in Bhagavad Gita and in knowing that there is reincarnation, there is karma and all these things which only, was maybe, joked about all the Egyptians and people, they believed in reincarnation and they did this, that, and the other. But for most of us in the Western world, and I see you have an Indian name, you may be in the West, you may be in India, I'm not sure. But generally, those with Indian background do know that there is certainly reincarnation and that there is certainly a reaction for every action we do. And with that basis, then we can start to think, so when we know there's a reaction for everything we do, and when we know that life goes on after the body dies, which actually most people do know, but they block out. I mean, most people in the West do know, but they block out that thought because it's too unknown and too untouchable. Untouchable in the sense we can't touch it, we can't see that happening. But when we know these things, then we actually need to, first of all, start to make that inquiry inside of what is the direction of life, what is the purpose of life, where is that place where we can actually be fulfilled, where we don't have to change bodies all the time, every few months, okay, every few years, but that's only a few months. And where is that place where we're not always under threat of disease, of accident, of bereavements, of all the miseries of this world? And I can say for myself and for many in the Western world, when we came across Srila Prabhupada's teachings, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's teachings, Srila Govinda Maharaj's teachings through their books, means their books is a written record of what they've been sharing with the world, then the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and of the Srimad Bhagavatam, of the scripture, they had then the life in them. It is like somebody telling you about their home country or their home village where they live. And if you live your life all the time in any particular country, like USA, then if somebody comes from another country, like Thailand or India, and they can not only give you a textbook, like a geographical analysis, in geography, they analyze what minerals are here in this country. There are so many minerals, and the national gross product per person is this, and national debt is that, and it rains 375 days a year, and whatever the statistics are for the different places in the world. But rather than just facts, the person who resides in another place, they can give you the feeling, the mood, and everything, and not from memory, like, oh, I learned it in a book, but in a very living way. And so why are we not fulfilled? It's because we haven't yet found where we can get honest direction in life to our home, the place of home comfort, where we live eternally and happily. And that is not fairy tales of, I do not know, Cinderella or something. I don't know what the fairy tales are, because anyway, I'm not sure about the fairy tales, but there's something many years ago, some child goes into a cupboard and then comes out the other side. Narni, is it something like this? And there's somewhere that's very perfect. But this is a fairy tale. It's like a bit of imagination. But interestingly, all these have got some reflection of the truth. And the truth is that there is a land called Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Vrindavan is the place where God lives, the personality of God, the person from whom everything has come. Everything comes from a person, not from just a big energy. And everyone has personality, that hence consciousness, and every little tiny one of us, we've got personality. And every created being, everyone who's got pets, whether it's a dog or a rat. I had friends at school who had rats as pets. You think, what, a rat? But they got personality. So there's personality everywhere. So the supreme personality, the supreme creator, not only the carpenter, not only the pot maker, not only the cloth weaver, not only the artist, but those are all some quality, sparks of quality of the Lord coming through the living entity. But who's the supreme person who's full of all qualities? This is, in one word, God. In the Western word, in India, it's Hari, the personality. Hari, the personality of Godhead. Harinam, chant the names of the Lord. And our life will become fulfilled when we know that we are on that journey home. Then all the difficulties that everybody faces in this world, they have a meaning because they're inevitable difficulties on a journey, but a journey home, not the inevitable difficulties of a journey of ignorance, which is only wandering in a jungle full of wild animals and diseases and all sorts of things. This world, which if we have no direction, we're just wandering unsafely in a jungle land. So we are happy to give you some direction to fulfillment. And there is a small a booklet, a baby book called Inner Fulfillment. And maybe Seva Rupa can put a link to a PDF or put it even, it's a small book, you can maybe drop it in the chat box. Then you can download. Oh, but you're on Facebook. So if you give a link, then that, but the link won't come through on Facebook either, will it? But Srila Mahaprabhu can copy the link and put it on Facebook. There you are. I'm not sure, but Srila Mahaprabhu must have Facebook open, presumably. I have it open. Oh, I suppose I could do that. But anyhow, yes. So, Chandan, we try to give you some good direction. There is the book a booklet called Inner Fulfillment. There's another booklet called Home Comfort. There's another booklet called In Search of the Original Source. These are all very small, but if we only had any one of these little books, we would find that we could lead our whole life by that guidance. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And why chant Hare Krishna? Because it is the prescribed medicine given by the textbooks, the Vedas, as well as by the doctors, the spiritual masters. The Maha Mantra is the Maha, the great mantra for this age of Kali Yuga. Different ages have different mantras. This is the Maha Mantra, this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the Maha Mantra for this age of Kali Yuga. And this was distributed in India, north, south, east, west, all over by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. About 500 years ago, but it is in the scripture all the while, and some sadhus and sages knew of this. And when we do Harinam Sankirtan, the pictures we were describing just now that were put in the chat box of the Zoom talk, they were both Harinam Sankirtan, where they got mridanga drums, called mridangas, and kartals, the cymbals. And what are they chanting? Principally, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And what is our meditation, our japa? Just like the Christians, the Sikhs, the Muslims, the Buddhists, they're chanting. The serious students, practitioners are chanting on beads, on a rosary. And in India, called japa mala. And what are we chanting? We are chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. They're the names, the loving names of the Lord. And everywhere the Lord's names are given preference, they're given emphasis, the names of the Lord. All serious religions in the names of the Lord. Hallowed be thy name. The name is very honorable. And in some religions, then also the name, if the name is written somewhere, it should not be erased. And I know this because there was some questions a long time ago when computers started coming out. Well, what happens if the name is on a page on your computer and you close the page or delete the file? Is that allowed? I mean, many things are there. So the holy name, it is well known, is very valuable. But what are the names? What is the name, or what are the names of the Lord? And we come to find that just as people in this world may have different name according to how their wife calls the husband, the child calls the father calls the son, the same person will be called by different names in this world. That's in this kind of limited world. And the Lord, he has many names, and his most loving names are Krishna and Rama, and Hare is his energy, his eternal personal manifestation of his energy. And so Hare Krishna is Radha Krishna, and Hare Rama is Radha Krishna also. So we also know, and I am one of those, that before the people that we hear, the name of the Lord is very honorable, but I don't know what is his name. I didn't know what any name of the Lord. We only know him as Lord or God. So this way we can march towards fulfillment of life. But the journey to know, if we can recognize that we've got solid guidance and we take that guidance, then when we know for sure that we are going in the right direction, then our life automatically is becoming fulfilled. And this is the necessity for the human race to learn what is that destination and how to go from where we are at the moment. And in brief, it is to chant Hare Krishna. So I appreciate that. And in the chat box of Facebook, then Leela Prabhu has put which book? Inner Fulfillment. And maybe you could put Home Comfort there. And you could put, actually, you could put the list that there's one page, isn't there? The one link for the list of the books. But the 3 books, Inner Fulfillment, Home Comfort, and Original Source. The full title is In Search of the Original Source. Big title for a small book, but it's got big content inside those few pages. And Sumangala, you must be in the ether. We've been remembering you, and not only remembering you, we've been happily chanting your glories to the devotees here. When some questions came up of how to be a devotee, I've got 2 children and a job, and we're telling them, we've got Sumangala Devidasi, a devotee, with 11 children, as well as others' children living in their own home, and 2 jobs, and serving in the temple. So Sumangala, you're a flagship, especially, I mean, for everybody, but a very good example, the householders. Everybody can find time for their devotional life. So Mangala, she's sending her obeisances to you all, by the way, to all of the devotees. She's sending obeisances to all the devotees and to me. I aspire to be a devotee one day. It's okay, Sumangala, I know what you mean. Don't worry. Very kind of you. And Leela Moy, yes, she's put in the link to the various publications. Okay, well, I've been chatting away, and I can't believe what time it is. But because, I mean, how fast the time has gone. But we've got Keshwananda here, and maybe Indulekha's been, I think Indulekha must have been to Hapaniya. And with Keshwananda's permission, I could ask Indulekha if she's free and available, if she'd like to just say a few words from your recollection, your feelings, because Hapaniya is a feeling place. We are not repeating textbook things. We want to share from the heart. And this is Indulekha Devidasi.
Dandavat, dear Maharaj and all the devotees. I think I've been to Hapaniya, but I think I was there because I have a picture, and I think it's from there, and I remember it vaguely, but I don't know if I should be the person to speak.
Okay. I know when we first come to Nabadwip, the parikramas can be quite intense, and Hapaniya, it is, no, in one sense, it's another holy place we go to after we've gone to many holy places during the Nabadwip Dham parikrama. And Indulekha is probably filming. She's quite famous for filming things as we as we travel to make a record and to share with the devotees. And so I know that the holy places can become a little bit of a blur. They blend into each other when we get back, and it's a few years later as it is now.
Maybe I'll find that picture and I'll send it to you, and you will be able to tell if that's Hapaniya or not.
Well, maybe I'll be able to tell. Let's see. Send me the picture, and just going to change all suddenly. Why can't I make the gallery? Oh, I can make the gallery. So Keshwananbu is here, but Bhima Krishna, so not about Keshwananbu. I know you're always ready to share something, but trying to share out, and Bhima Krishna is here. And by the way, I mean, I'm always happy whenever you like express something of your time in Nabadwip and your experience on the Parikrama, because it's very fresh and clean. It's like you come there and this is what we did and so, and coming from, the opposite side of the world by aeroplane, it's a big change. And I have to say, the first time I went to India, I went overland. It took 3 months, by the way. So 3 months to get to the final destination, probably 2 months to actually get to India. And so you arrive gradually, and it's not a shock. And what was a shock to me was going back from India to England, to London. Arriving in London really was a shock. So, we can understand, when you go by plane to India without any transition along the way, then, it can be quite a shock in the sense of, oh, everything is so different. Bhima Krishna, you've been to Hapaniya? You recall going to Hapaniya? Would you like to share a few words, a few heartbeats?
Sure. Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat devotees. I always have something to say, unfortunately, for everybody.
Giant. We're happy for that.
I believe I went with you, Maharaj, and it was it was myself, Bimala Didi, and Anu Krishna from Hungary. And I believe yourself drove us there, and it was special for me because it was quiet. There was, I think, maybe 2 brahmacharis there at the temple at the time, and I remember another devotee had just finished bathing, and my memory of it so vivid. I remember him drying his Brahmin thread was colored because he was drying his Brahmin thread with his towel, and the dyes of the towel was changing the color of his Brahmin thread. But anyway, I just remember being just seeing the deities there. We might have had an arati. I don't remember. I know we took prasadam there. And I just remember walking outside. I don't know, is there a kund across the street or a field or something? I vaguely remember that, but just I don't think I saw another person besides the devotees there at the temple. Maybe 1 or 2 other people, but it was just I just remember it being really quiet, but yet feeling that this is a special place, obviously, and thinking of Guru Maharaj, and just trying to be open to, whatever experience comes in that way, instead of trying to have my own judgments, just trying to be open to feel like whatever it is there. So that was kind of my memories. I do have a few pictures. I think I have 1 or 2, 3 photographs. I do remember there was a small calf there, which was sweet. But that's kind of my memory of there. But hearing you speaking of Brāhmanpārhā as well brought back a lot of good memories. Like actually being there while Gurudev was there was really special, because I'd been there 2 times previous, but never while Srila Gurudev was there. And the last time I was there, Srila Gurudev was there as well during his Vyasa Puja, so that was a really special time. But one of my favorite memories is riding on top of the bus with the devotees. We'd all climb on top of the bus and just crowd the whole top of the bus. And kind of a funny story, but the Mexican devotees, Gaur Narayan and Vangsi Bihari Prabhu and Arjuna Prabhu, we'd all ride on the top. And when you're riding on the top of the bus, there's always the power lines. going across, and then also trees. So we'd all come up to a power line or a tree, and everybody would lay over on their side and duck. But this one time, Arjuna, he reached up and grabbed a tree branch from the tree.
Oh.
So every time we would go and there would be a tree like over the top of us, we'd all duck to the side, but Arjuna would have this branch and he would hit Gaur Narayan with the branch of the tree, making him think we're getting hit by trees. And it was just a funny little pastime with the devotees that, you know, just beautiful memories, seeing Srila Gurudev there with all the devotees, and the kirtans were just, you know, the energy from everybody, seeing Gurudev there was just so special. And I know you were there, Maharaj. I have pictures of you driving the car with Gurudev, and I don't know how you ever drove in India, but that's an amazing feat all in itself. But anyway, these are just some memories from that I have, and yeah, thanks for letting me share, Maharaj. Dhanyavad.
My Indian driving instructor for the etiquette of driving in India is Srila Gurudev himself. So from there, that's how we were able to drive in India, because we had a good master. And the main difference from driving in the West is the cars talk to each other. So you got to use the horn, otherwise you are the guilty party. If you don't use, I've had people, I didn't use the horn and someone's doing something stupid, and I'm at fault for not using the horn. Yes, we have this experience. Anyhow, yes, wonderful. And super memories and or something. Oh yes, you were saying about the peacefulness of Hapaniya. And yesterday evening here, and then late when we are taking prasadam and everything, we were still kind of thinking about Hapaniya, because we did the Italian Zoom in the evening and it was quite Hapaniya conscious. But then in the evening, it's very quiet. It can be very quiet here in the evening. We just finished prasadam. It's all very quiet outside. And then I was saying, well, in Hapaniya, if anyone gets a chance to stay overnight in Hapaniya, it's also like one of those places where you only hear nature. Maybe you hear some goats, you hear the birds, and in the morning you hear birds because there are lots of trees. It's got so many trees, and birds live in trees. And cats aren't such a thing in India with domestic cats, and so cats aren't killing everything. So you got a lot of bird life. And in the night, it's just so quiet. And the guest room, I don't know whether it's called a guest room or not, but where we would generally stay, if we stayed there, was either on the floor in the temple room, just with a mosquito net, or in the room, which is a very basic room, but it's got the grill made of the concrete design for letting in air, but it's at the top of just below the ceiling of the Nat Mandir, and it's actually just level with your head when you're sleeping, when you're lying down, level with your head in the room, which is a guest room. So it's kind of, it's not exactly, square, everything square and following, the roof just goes straight. And so in the night and first thing in the morning, what are you seeing? You're looking into the temple room, the Nat Mandir, not the temple part where the deities are, but the Nat Mandir where the devotees gather. And it's just such a beautiful place. And cows and like you said, there are calves, and calves become cows. And that Goshala, it is right behind rather, the Nat Mandir. So the natural incense, if you like, of cows, it is a very natural smell when they're getting natural food and this, that, and the other. And in the West, they getting food which is fermented or something. It smells quite a little bit different than India cow smell. Hare Krishna. Anyway, Hapaniya is a very sweet place to be there. And you're remembering Brāhmanpārhā. And we've yesterday, well, maybe no one was in the Italian Zoom, but in the Italian Zoom yesterday, we did remember how we had a particularly remarkable festival for the public one time. And it was all arranged by Srila Bhakti-Nilamala Acharya Maharaj, who is very capable at arranging festivals, really dynamic, capable, and he publicized in the region of Brāhmanpārhā and in the region of Hapaniya that we are having a festival at this particular place, which I don't recall the name of. It was, I mean, it's a small place, but it was a school compound during the school holidays. And it was halfway between Brāhmanpārhā and Hapaniya, halfway walking-wise between the two, not halfway by the road, because it's quite a long way by road to go around. And Charge Maharaj arranged, advertising. What's the advertising? Wasn't Facebook. It was a rickshaw with a loudspeaker and someone going around telling them of the festival. And so from the whole Hapaniya area, Guru Maharaj is very famous, and they're proud of Guru Maharaj, the world Jagat Guru, this, that, and the other. And in the whole Brāhmanpārhā area, the villagers, they're proud of Gurudev, Jagat Guru from our village and our area. So from both these sides, then people came, and it was a big festival, so big that that is the particular festival that the cooks had to start cooking again when it was clear how many people were coming. And in the summer, in the heat, and it was a big festival, but that goes to show the glories of Gurudev, the glories of Guru Maharaj, that in the village areas of India, not a city, not something like that, and people coming by foot from miles around. And then the glories of Srila Gurudev, the glories of Srila Guru Maharaj. And that was the biggest festival, one-day festival ever, outside the mat, maybe inside the mat also, I'm not sure, but outside the mat, certainly. It was the biggest festival ever, and was definitely a surprise for everybody, actually, except Krishna. He knows. He knows. Hare Krishna. Anyway, yesterday was, I think, you may be wondering why we're talking about Hapaniya. Yesterday was the installation day, anniversary of the installation of the deities of Guru, Gauranga, Radha, Gopinath in Hapaniya. Hare Krishna. Well, Amma Babu's home, we've been there many times. I'm looking at the pictures in the chat box here, sent by Seva Rupa. Yep, that's Amma Babu's home. Oh, look, Sankirtan. Okay, sometimes we actually, they're told that we see by hearing, but we can see. Yeah, we see by hearing, but here we can see a picture. And we can hear the Sankirtan. Jai. And oh yes, the Kirtan place where Srila Gurudev, where Srila Guru Maharaj first started Kirtan, just opposite our temple. And I'm still looking, actually I'm looking down, or Indu to everyone. This is Brāhmanpārhā, the picture that Indulekha sent.
Okay.
This picture is Brāhmanpārhā, Srila Gurudev's appearance place. Hare Krishna. Jai. And Brāhmanpārhā and Hapaniya, both in the same region, in the same area. Oh, well, we mentioned Rāḍha-desh. And Brāhmanpārhā, look how glorious. And Hapaniya is small but sweet. Brāhmanpārhā, sweet, but it is bigger. You can see how big it is. The actual temple room where the deities are in Hapaniya is 8 feet by 8 feet. Those of you who know how big is a foot. But something like, isn't it 30? Oh, anyway, 8 feet by 8 feet. Means 2 point something meters by 2 point something meters. Less than 3 meters by 3 meters. Hare Krishna. All right, dear devotees, we've kind of, I don't know whether it's, yes, I was going to say nostalgic. I suppose we're on a nostalgic visit today to Srila Guru Maharaj's appearance place. And when Mahaprabhu went to Ishvarapuri's appearance place, he took some dust from there and he said, this is the most holy place, the place of the appearance of Ishvarapuri. So similarly, when we go to Hapaniya, we are feeling this is the most holy place, the dust from the place of the appearance of Srila Guru Maharaj. And to get some feel of Hapaniya, please do read what was posted yesterday on the Math's website on scsmath.com. A Day in Hapaniya, I think the title. There's an article there, short article. A Day at Hapaniya. A lecture delivered by Srila Gurudev in October 1989. But an informal lecture, as Gurudev would give, happily sharing with the devotees. And there you will get some description of Hapaniya from Srila Gurudev's lotus mouth, recorded in black and white. All right, dear devotees, Krishna, Krishna. Sumangala sense of messages. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. All is good. And Mayeshwari sent a message here. Oh, so Mayeshwari, she was with us on the Zoom and she's now on Facebook. Oh, and she's sent a message saying, Dandabas, we are having a big storm here. I got knocked off Zoom. Crazy weather. Well, there we are. And yes, Sumangala, she's put a little note here too, saying, I actually can't believe I was allowed to go there to Hapaniya. I feel so fortunate. I also feel so fortunate, Didi, and definitely appreciate that expression of heart. All right, we can all go there by heart, by the grace of Gurudev. Even if you have read it, you can read again that article that Srila Gurudev spoke, A Day at Hapaniya. And you can hear again the talk that Srila Gurudev gave, which is there on scsmath.com. All right, dear devotees, Jai Sripat Hapaniya Dham ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Gopinath Ju ki Jai, and Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Nabadwip ki Jai, and Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ju ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rapa Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Vishwarinya, worldwide worshipable, universally worshipable. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. All the present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Jai Srila Bhakti Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Don't wake people up. They're all sleeping here. Hare Krishna. We're looking forward to the clocks changing in Europe. We'll have a more civilized time for our gathering by European time. All right, take care, dear devotees. We'll meet again very soon. Ami Ashchi.